Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way. And we are back for the first episode of the Premier League
Yes,
season. Premier League football was back on the weekend.
for
Some
real.
teams look the same, some teams look different. Some strikers bagged on their debut, some didn't. But we are going to start with the champions this week. They did go away to Stamford Bridge in what was a relatively calm 2-0 victory.
Yeah.
Um, and
Do you know what I felt, honestly, as I watched the majority of the game? I was just like, City are so boring,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I'm going on my phone during. I know I've got a podcast to produce, but I'm going on my phone during the game.
City are so... Especially after they get the first goal.
Yeah.
After City get the first goal and all the onus is on the other team to come out and do something, or
To get the ball over.
it's just... Oh... But it was quality from them. I get it. They were coasted.
Yeah.
Like
So, I mean, it was ominous from City, just sort of like a reminder of who they are. No Rodri, but Kovacic in there, ball in, your guy.
Yeah.
Had a great game, and the thing is, where and we saw each other on Saturday, but the thing is where that Man City team is just different. I said to you on Saturday, they just don't make mistakes. Like Ruben Diaz doesn't give a sloppy pass. Akanji doesn't have a sloppy touch. Gavardio's ready. They're like, whereas in the Arsenal game, we'll get onto the Arsenal game, there are a bit of nerves. Saliba plays a pass, gives Cunha a pass.
Yeah.
You just never ever see that from City.
Even the passing out from the back stuff, there was a time in the game when Akanji passed it to Edison, who passed it to Guardiola, whoever it was. And this was like all on the goal line.
Yeah, across the yeah.
And like none of them looked phased.
Yeah.
None of them looked like the fans weren't even none of that.
And that's at Stamford Bridge. And obviously we will talk on both sides, but we can't. I don't even think we can really say like, oh, it's a bad Chelsea team or whatever. Like to go to Stamford Bridge and do that.
Yeah.
Whenever Chelsea built up a bit of pressure or something, City just completely took the sting out of the game, and a lot of their starters not even there. It was just a very. I don't think the fifth title, have they lost motivation? I don't think any of that really
applies.
Yeah.
But I think everybody kind of knows that. Like that's just me. You know, it's kind of like UFC trying to sell a fight. Like
people, but it's also been a fact with previous Premier League teams.
No, it has. But previous Premier League teams haven't been managed by Pep. Pep mind game start match day one. Yeah. He's telling the whole.
Say we're not.
I'm not there.
Yeah, I don't care.
Come on, for the fifth, I just don't feel it. Yeah. We really had the last month.
We don't have the motivation.
But you know he's screaming him in training, you've got to be perfect.
Yeah.
Also, he's getting the engines going, he's telling the guys. And for a lot of these guys, to be fair, Pep, he's like the best at mixing it up. Because obviously, like it's sad that Oscar Bob got injured 100%, because I think this was going to be his breakout year. But he's always got almost a perfect mixture between guys that have won a couple, Akanji now, Ake, these guys that have won 2 or 3, Stones. They said Diaz has won 5, 4 in a row. Yeah. He's won every year. Yeah. But then you've got the new guys. Savinho's come in. Doku's looking to get his second. Oscar Bob was trying to push for his first or whatever it was. Rico Lewis is trying to be a mainstay in the team. Like he's always got the perfect blend of like enough guys who are hungry and want it, and enough guys who have.
But then you would look at Rico Lewis, and as much as Rico Lewis played well, and he's one of the best players on the pitch, probably. You would normally look at Rico Lewis and think you can get him.
You would, and that's when the Pep system comes into effect, and he like shields his weaknesses. And Rico Lewis, you know, he looks amazing inverting. And Rico Lewis, to be fair to him, he was doing his thing with the one-on-ones.
Yeah.
So that's the genius of him all. You give the young guy one of the toughest jobs, and he's really hungry and he really wants it, and he really wants to show the world how good he is, and the rest of the team can sort of draw inspiration from that.
And then Pep saying, I hate myself for not playing him.
Yeah. As I said, the mind game start match day 1. So obviously that's the difference, but I don't think any other manager in Premier League history has had that, like, I don't even know what you call it, man, because they were all psychopaths. I can't say Pep's a psychopath and Ferguson wasn't, and Wenger. Like I know all of these guys eat, all of these guys like eat, sleep, drink football, but Pep just has like total control.
Yeah,
and he's pulling strings and he's manipulating his players and the media and the English Premier League, and it's just been doing it for 5 years now.
Yeah, and as much as Pep has his fallouts with certain players, the majority of that Man City team just don't seem to be getting sick of Pep
Yeah.
and Pep's ideas. And
Everybody says
Pep's,
he's intense, but they
yeah.
do another year.
And I guess part of that's because they're winning.
They're
Right? If
winning.
they can keep winning, then it is what it is. But look, I think that's City. We kind of knew they would go there and win.
Yeah.
But on the Chelsea side, because there's a lot more to get into here. I don't think anyone should really just sit there and say, especially Chelsea fans, it's Man City, it's a tough game. We know what Man City are like. Like, you're not Brentford, you're not Brighton playing Man City on the opening game. You're Chelsea. This is at Stamford Bridge. Like, you can't 2-0. You can't be looking at the 2-0 and saying, "Oh, we played well
I agree with you, and I agree with the sentiment of your
at
point.
home."
But I think Chelsea, like, the Chelsea fans I know, have such a distance between them and football in general. Like, they watch it here and
Yeah, but I
there.
bet they didn't used to.
They follow the exact. They was there for everything. But now it's like they follow things as it trickles in.
Yeah,
They never want to know things until it's like there's such an
yeah.
apathy, I feel like, between a lot of Chelsea fans and football right now and their club and everything like that. Like, how many times 18 months ago was a different regime, and we've had like 2 regimes since then.
Yep.
You know, so I think for them, they just don't know. They don't know what to expect, but they know to expect losses at Stamford Bridge. Like, they seem to lose a lot there. But I think I agree with your point. Like, Chelsea are a big club. Chelsea should be thinking we want to fight for things we want to improve on next year, but they have no foundation at any point to build from and think, all right, I'm going to get behind this manager or this team or this player.
Well, you said they could finish fourth.
I genuinely think with the squad that Chelsea have, if they have a good season, if they have a good manager, that they have the potential to finish fourth. We've seen what Tottenham will run. Yeah. United weren't that convincing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, Newcastle, they lost a man. They still have players to probably try and sign, all this kind of stuff. Like, Chelsea have depth in every position and talent in every position, but it's 100% going to be down to the man. Not just down to the manager, but...
So on that then, what did you make of Maresca in that first game? Obviously tough to
yeah,
judge
exactly.
him, but
I thought... I actually like some of the big calls that he made in terms of just making them, leaving Sterling out, leaving certain guys out. Like, you go make those decisions, innit? Just make them. If you want to have a style of play, whatever, you've told Chilwell your time's up, come. Just, to be honest, they've given...
The Chilwell thing is mad.
Yeah, it's all mad. Yeah. All of it is mad. But just from Maresca's point of view, you're a manager, you've come in, you're trying to play a certain style of football, you've got to make cutthroat decisions to move in the right direction. And I think we was just saying, I don't know if I could ever envision Chelsea playing slow build up from the back.
Well, we saw how annoyed their fans were getting.
Yeah, I don't even think they've got the centre backs to do it.
No.
But I just like the fact that he's trying to be bold, and he's gonna have to make a lot of crazy decisions and make a lot of decisions wrong to find out what's right with his squad and who he can trust and the Chelsea team and X, Y, and Z. So
you did say you think he would get there a lot quicker than Pochettino.
Yeah, I do think he'll get there a lot quicker than Pochettino. In terms of just finding out who he thinks can play his style of football, because at least Maresca in my mind has the illusion of time. Like, Pochettino signed like a 1-year deal with a 1-year option.
Yeah.
You know, so Pochettino was like, this has got to work for me today, not next week, not next year. Like, Maresca's on a 5-year deal, so he's probably thinking, all right, bro, I've got time to make decisions, so go, Chilwell.
So yeah, and like you say, the ruthlessness. I think that's something you need as a manager. We've said that about Arteta in the past, but you mentioned the Raheem Sterling thing. Yeah, do you think Maresca's made the right call there,
leaving him out?
If it is Maresca's call,
I think it is Maresca's call. Well, actually, it might not be.
I think Maresca's a puppet. I've said this to you. I think Poch. How many interviews from maybe March onwards last season was Poch saying, I don't know what the board's plans are. I don't know what he didn't want them to sell Gallagher and whatever. Maresca's come in. Yeah, you can sell Gallagher. Yeah, Sterling can go and whatever.
Maresca made concessions for sure for a 5-year deal.
And Maresca's been fast tracked ultimately.
Yeah.
In his career.
We trust you, you trust us.
Exactly. We want the style of play. One promotion with Leicester, and now he's in there with the Chelsea job. I think he's potentially a puppet where he's not going to say anything against the board. Comes out afterwards and says the Sterling thing is a technical decision. But I can't for the life of me understand the technical decision. We know how Raheem Sterling was probably the best player when City played Chelsea last year in
Yeah,
both
yeah.
games, home and away. I can't for the life of me understand how Mudryk gets a place on that bench and Sterling can't.
In that case, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I can't justify the decision in terms. I like the fact that he made it, but I can't justify leaving Sterling out and putting Mudryk in there as if you think Mudryk's really gonna change this game at any point, as if he's shown anything to suggest that he can change the game. However, if Maresca does think, all right, with all these young guys and what I have in the squad and what I want to do, I don't think Sterling's right for me, then what I do think they have to communicate to Sterling. I think Sterling
Yeah.
deserves respect. I know Chelsea are a disrespectful club in like their DNA, but I feel like you've got to tell guys like Sterling, who are your highest earners, whether you're in his plans or out of his plans.
Yeah.
And
Which obviously Raheem Sterling's statement, he's kind of putting across that was told to him that he's in Maresca's plans. He was expecting to be involved in the match day squad
in some capacity, yeah.
I think because anyone saying that Maresca's allowed to pick his squad, that's his job as a manager.
Yeah.
Like, players shouldn't be getting onto him or whatever. I hear that, but why is Mudryk on that bit? What has Mudryk? I know Sterling's been poor at Chelsea,
Yeah.
right? But so has Mudryk, right? Mudryk is only on that bench because of his price tag, because of the potential, because they need to see a return, because of all of those things. So it's not football related stuff.
Yeah, no. I think the Sterling situation is
Even Madueke
is a mess all
yeah,
around.
and Madueke's looked nice. We've given Madueke props up, but he's not better than Sterling.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the thing is, because we're not in the backroom conversations, it's tough to know. If it's a decision where Maresca says, you're not in my plans, I'm leaving you out, calm. If it's a decision where Todd Bowley said, I want to sell this guy, can you give him the message that I want to sell him? That's that
But
will only lead to your downfall.
Is it calm if Maresca says, you're not in my plans, I'm not going to pick you, but Mudryk's there? Is that calm?
That's calm. It shouldn't be calm.
Okay.
It shouldn't be calm in terms of my personal opinion. But if a manager's saying, I believe this guy has a better future at this club than you do, or he's going to learn my style of play, or wherever it's going to be,
Maresca believes
that's calm. Because we've seen other managers do that.
Back him? If he believes Mudryk's more in my plans than Raheem Sterling, who won 4 or 5 league titles under Pep Guardiola, how much can you really back him?
The issue is, man, and you know I'm a big Sterling guy. The issue is Sterling has been inconsistent. He's been up and down. That's the issue. Mudryk is, you can't even, I agree. Yo, I said this off the pod. I feel like we're in a situation now where you benefit from playing less football than playing more football.
Yeah.
Like, people will think you're a better player if you play less football than a guy who plays more football than you.
Like the Eddie Brozier.
All of this. How many examples of players where they've gone for big dough and it's only because they've either had an injury that's kept them out or whatever has kept them out for a couple of games, minutes, years, wherever it's been.
Skip.
Yeah. And then a guy who has been playing and looks decent, but also has some down periods.
Yeah.
Is now worth nothing.
But you've seen the down periods on the pitch and stuff.
But, so I think Sterling might be not benefiting from. I think he might be, that might be to his detriment, man. And maybe Maresca's looking at Mudryk and thinking, I have an explosive talent here that no one's been able to figure out. Sterling is turning 30. I need to move on, type of thing.
True.
And I can kind of hear that argument. But if that was going to happen, if that was Maresca's plan, Maresca was signed a long time ago. Sterling should have been, his agent should know, Sterling should know, they should be shopping around.
So with the statement, obviously 2 weeks left in the window, where do you stand on that statement? Obviously last year, a similar sort of time in the season, after a couple of games, Jadon Sancho released one.
Yeah. The statement is crazy. Statement on match day 1.
So you think it's wrong?
I think the statement itself is wrong, but I ain't going to lie to you. If I'm Raheem Sterling, I'm putting the statement out. And the reason I'm putting the statement out is because I'm sure today or tomorrow or whatever, Sterling's got the clarification he's looking for.
Yep.
I'm sure after the game was done, after they did the video analysis, whatever, guys got their massages. Monday morning, Sterling was in the manager's office. What's going on?
Yeah.
And the manager, Enzo's told him, you're not my plans, or it was my mistake, or whatever. So in that case, it's worked for him because Sterling's probably been waiting around for 2 weeks thinking, so I must be in his plans then. Yeah. I haven't heard anything to the contrary. I've been training. I've been playing preseason minutes. I'll probably just have to fight for my place. So in that case, I do agree because Sterling's 30. He's not got years to waste. He's probably thinking, I need to know what I'm doing this 2024-2025 season. Is it here? Do I need to go somewhere else? Do I need to go abroad? I've only got 2 weeks left to figure stuff out. If I do have to figure stuff out, Wagwan. But I do agree the whole like you gotta be professional. You've thrown your teammates
So
under the
what do you think the
bus.
point of putting out the statement is? What do you think Raheem Sterling and his camp are trying to achieve by doing that?
Literally clarity on whether he's gonna be at Chelsea or if he needs to find a new club. Because that's gonna take time.
But if that's the only purpose, they could have done that privately now.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe they've tried, and this is them trying to force their hand.
Fair,
It's the same thing with
yeah.
managers saying, we talk about managers who demand like transfers from their clubs. It's like it could be done internally, but the manager in a press conference will just be like, "Yeah, any players."
Yeah.
You've got to force the club's hand.
The reason I bring up the Sancho one is that because I do think that's a bit different, and I think we
Yeah, it
sat
was a
here
funny time.
and I tried to give both sides of it. But the difference with that is that Ten Hag came out and called out Sancho. First, he came out and said he's not been in the squad because he's not training well.
But that's
and Ten Hag said it publicly.
Yeah, right? And I agree with that.
So Sancho has the right then, I feel like, to come out and respond publicly. Right? Ten Hag, it doesn't look like Ten Hag had gone to Sancho and told him this is why you're not in the squad. But with Raheem Sterling, the only reason I think ultimately the timing's wrong, regardless. Yeah, how was it? Half an hour before you kick off for the first game of the season.
It's his first game at Chelsea.
And regardless of what you think of Maresca, regardless of what you think of Bowley and the ownership and all of that, kind of respect your teammates and know your teammates are going out there. And at the same time, if Raheem Sterling thinks he does deserve a place on that bench, he's also saying that someone on that bench doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
I think the reason they do that publicly, the only reason I can think that they would have done that is because they're looking for a move. And they're putting the world on notice that Raheem Sterling's available. Because I can't understand why they would put that out for any other reason. What does that achieve?
Yeah, I agree with that.
If it is for clarity, Raheem Sterling or his agent or whoever can go to Maresca on Monday morning and say, I thought we were part of the plans, and have that conversation.
True. No, that is a very fair point. But I think that's the only direction in which we can see this heading.
That Sterling gets sold.
That Sterling gets sold, Sterling goes on a loan somewhere, Chelsea covers some of the costs, some club covers some of the costs. But I think Sterling's also probably thinking, bro, this club has been slimy, so I'm going to be slimy.
Yeah.
Like
some people making the point that they think Sterling might be like, after the way you treat Chilwell, after the way you treat Carney, after the way you treat Chalobah, after the way you treat Brozier, someone's going to say something.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent that definitely behind the scenes, Sterling is probably like having conversations with all those guys in terms of like what they did to you was wrong. Don't worry, I saw it. Because I'm sure Gallagher's probably thinking, yeah, what the
And also Sterling's the most senior guy there.
Yeah, but I also definitely think that what Sterling did was selfish. Not selfish, but like he had his best interests at heart, as you say. He wants to know if he can get a move. He wants to let other clubs know.
Yeah,
I'm available. My mind, I'm open, as they say in Castle Moore. My head can be turned. Yeah. Like, so in that case, and you have to be inherently selfish as a footballer because it's your career. And also Raheem Sterling's turning 30. He's on a big contract. It's one of these ones where it's like, have I played well enough? Am I eligible to get another big contract? Or do I have to be in a place where I have to downsize with my family to, whatever it's going to be type of thing? You got to know these decisions before you turn 30. You can't just waste 2-3 years at Chelsea. When you're 30.
Yeah.
And it's not even like he needs the 300k. He's been paid.
Yeah.
His career, I'm sure Sterling, it's a Champions League he hasn't won. I'm sure he wants to win a Premier League trophy without Pep Guardiola. Like, there's other stuff he wants to add to his legacy. Guys Academy down. He's not been in England squads, all this kind of stuff. He's probably thinking to himself, I need a big year this year. Yeah. And I can't just be waiting. The manager's not really telling me much. Bowley's not really telling me much.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And also, the other point people are making is that, like, next week, is it going to be Carney that releases a statement, or is it going to be Brozier, or is it going to be
Chelsea will have statements all season. Enzo has at least 4 or 5 statements.
But I think it's different because those guys, Carney, Brozier, whoever you want to mention in there, Disassi, Tosin, whoever it is that's left out of the squad, they're not Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling's
he's got pedigree.
Premier League legend, arguably. But one person who did make their squad and actually made their squad with the captain's armband.
Yeah. This is a worthy conversation.
Which to me just shows like no self-awareness from Chelsea as a football club. Because they took the knee. The guy we're talking about, Enzo Fernandez, for those who don't know, sang a racist song after Argentina won the Copa America.
In jubilation.
They didn't even play France, but they were singing racist songs. They took the knee before the game. and Enzo Fernandez, Chelsea captain, takes the knee. And this is where when Wilfred Zaha said, "I'm not going to do it," I respected him for that. And I understood his decision and respected that decision, because Wilfred Zaha's whole point was, we can take the knee, but like, what's that really going to do? Like, how's that really going to help? And as much as maybe it's raised awareness, I don't know the stats, I don't know whatever. This is a prime example of what Wilfred Zaha was talking about. That Enzo's going to done this, and now on the first day of the season, he's come and taken the knee. But aside from all of that, because this is a football podcast, he dropped a stinker.
Yo, the notion from maybe Enzo Maresca or to whoever it is that thinks the solution to Enzo Fernandez is playing him higher up the pitch, to me, that is crazy. That I genuinely, if this is what's going to be happening
in a Man City game, is the only one I can understand it. Not Man City or an Arsenal, because you think extra body in midfield or whatever. As much as I don't rate Enzo Fernandez,
if I see whoever Chelsea are playing next week, man, if I see Enzo pushing up into the potential 10 position and you're still keeping Cole Palmer out wide, because you think that potentially this guy can do it on the half spaces. And the one thing I'll give Enzo is he's got a tidy array of passes. Yeah. The bad thing about him is, like everything else, he's not that much of an athlete. He's not that consistent even with his pass selection. But I know that he can hit multiple, the short one, the medium one, the long one. Yeah. I've seen him. But it's
when he has time and space.
But it's so few and far between. And I don't think he's the guy to play with his back to goal. No. And I just think every DM, I miss the days. I miss Paulinho already. Every DM is going to be licking their lips. Every central defender, every front foot central defender is going to be licking their lips if they're seeing Lavia or Caicedo or whoever try and punch a ball through to Enzo Fernandez on the half turn.
They're going to be ready to crunch.
Yeah. Because you know what? Even if Enzo has a good first touch and maybe feints, swivels past the guy, he doesn't have the legs to burst away from anyone, really. The second guy's right there.
Yeah.
The first guy's going to get back in.
Yeah.
So I fully don't understand. And I think Toboli's mentality is like, I hear it. I spent 100+ million on this guy. I'm going to beat this horse till it's dead. I need something in return. So
he's going to die soon. The horse is getting
but now he's locked in.
Well, again, like Maresca's already doing things that are making me think he's never going to succeed.
No, he has to go for you. I'll give him a tough period.
To make Enzo vice captain. So
that's crazy.
You banish Chilwell. Now Enzo's your vice captain. Yesterday he was captain. That to me tells me that Enzo is in your plans, right? When Mikel Arteta made Martin Odegaard captain, at that point Martin Odegaard wasn't a mainstay in the Arsenal team, right? He kind of worked his way in, but even then, Mikel Arteta made him captain, and we were like, well, I guess that means Martin Odegaard's on the team sheet every week, right? If he's done that and he's committed, he's said, yo, Enzo, I'm going to hang my hat on you. You're going to lead this team. You're going to be my go-to guy. That's a problem.
That's a problem I agree with. Banking on Enzo, like, honestly, he has to work on midfield. And you're right. He's made him vice captain, so he has to play him.
And now he's going to be on the team sheet.
But if I was Enzo Maresca, I would have no loyalties to any players apart from Cole Palmer. Everybody fight for your place. I'm going to be switching things around. I'm going to try a midfield of Lavia, Caicedo, whoever. And then I'm going to put, I was going to say Gallagher, but they want Gallagher out. I'm going to put, I'm just going to use 3 different combinations every match week till I find the perfect combination, or the one I like the most, or the one I think will be the most consistent. And that might not involve Enzo, and you have to be open to that. And if you're not open to that, statements will be coming.
Well, I think he's kind of made his decision that he's not open to that. Like, Enzo is his guy. And is Gallagher, from what you've seen of Gallagher in the Premier League and what you've seen of Enzo Fernandez in the Premier League, if you were a manager and you're playing Man City, which one of them is in the team?
No, I'd put Gallagher in the team.
Because that period where we were talking about earlier, where Man City just had control, they were just passing it around, Chelsea couldn't get near them. Even if you had Gallagher to come off the bench, he at least hustles. He causes a mistake. He puts a bit of pressure on. Something happens. But Chelsea just looked shot. The only player who I think comes away with any credit in that game is Lavia.
Lavia, he did well.
Lavia balled. I think Lavia's locked his starting position for as long as he's fit. He's in there.
You'd like to think so.
I think. Well, if Maresca drops Lavia, then he really doesn't have a chance.
But I agree, and I mean, he's also got to switch out the 2 centre backs. Because Cole will.
Yeah, Armand messaged me during the game and said Badia Shield was definitely better than Fofana. And Fofana was terrible. But That's the baddest shit on Colwill. What the
I don't rate.
Colwill
I don't
on that
rate
Haaland goal.
Colwill.
I just don't. A Colwill. I think he should give up on football.
I don't rate Colwill.
I don't think guys like Colwill.
I see it. You know what I see?
Colwill loves to play football when he has the ball.
Yeah.
Right. When Colwill has the ball, he could be the coldest in the league. Right. In terms of fact, I remember when we played Brighton and I was gassing up his performance.
Yeah.
But off the ball, right? And Gabriel's probably the best example of this, of someone who relishes off the ball duels.
Yeah.
Like Gabriel probably loves that side of the game more than actually having the ball.
Yeah.
Colwill does not want that at all.
I was gonna say that's the thing. I'm sure in training, when you look at Colwill, you think, what, 6'2", 6'3", built, strong, seems like he can run a little
quick.
bit, good on the ball. Yeah, that's a good block. That's a good challenge. On match day Colwill is everything you've just said. He does not want it. He's going to be positionally in the wrong place. He's going to shy away from the wrong challenge. He's not going to clear his lines right.
He's not going to go for the head, though.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, we can actually be here all day and all night speaking about Chelsea's issues. Like, they're going to be one to everybody's going to have an interesting.
And it is only game week 1.
Yeah,
it is only game week 1.
I still think, though, as I said at the beginning, I still think that Chelsea have the potential to have a good season. Yeah, get a nice person next to Lavia and Cole Palmer, and you have a good midfield.
I think a good season for Chelsea is 6th.
That would be a good season for Chelsea.
And I said before in the predictions, I don't think they'll finish higher than they did last year under Poch, which was 6th. I still stand by that.
Fair. They're going to need a new centre back, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, Tosin, who's meant to be Maresca's guy, didn't make the match day squad. So I don't know what's going on in that. Felix coming in, I don't think Felix solves any problems.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to keep a close eye on you because I'm not sure.
Yeah. We could talk about Chelsea for an hour, but we'll move it on. Team that finished 2nd last year. I was at the game. It was good to be back at the Emirates. Arsenal versus Wolves. Fairly comfortable 2-0 win. A couple nervy moments at the start of the second half, but there was never really.
Yeah, I wasn't really that
any like clear cut other than the one where Saliba gives it to Cunha. We were pretty in control. Obviously Saka goal and an assist, unbelievable goal. Question is he world class? That's what people are asking.
I think after this season, that won't really be a question. I feel like
after this season,
I feel like if you don't think he's world class yet, calm. I'm not actually really gonna argue with you that much. Like, maybe he's not done enough. He's had a couple of good years, but world class it's like a heavy title.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is gonna be a big year.
Yeah,
and I think after this season, we're gonna be saying he's had 3 years now of just excellency, and I think he's
I think his game is going to go up another level this year.
Agreed. 100% I agree. I think that 20 goal is not out of reach.
No, 16 last year.
Exactly.
I think that will happen this year.
Exactly. 5 pens, 15 goals.
Well, anything like Cole Palmer. Stat pad those. Give us like 11, 12 pens.
So I genuinely think, like, we saw he wasn't even really, like, I was going to say he wasn't even really that good. He was, but like
he wasn't involved a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever he was involved.
But that's what I'm saying. If on your meaty days you can leave the GA and change the game, that's when you know you're in for a monster year. See, I've seen Salah do that how many times?
Yeah.
How many times I thought he's not really played well today?
Yeah.
Goal assist,
yeah.
You know,
and
so
it is kind of like that. And it is, whenever the ball goes to Saka, I've said this before, there's an expectation that something's going to happen.
Yeah, legit.
And the ball that he puts in for Kai Havertz's goal, Kai Havertz also coming away with a goal and an assist, scoring Arsenal's first goal of the season. And what I want to say on Kai Havertz is that, obviously, I sent you that video of the Arsenal players who's going to score our first goal of the season. All the Arsenal players say Kai Havertz. Rio's come out with his ITK in the know. I've spoken to Declan Rice. Declan Rice has said we don't need a number 9. Havertz is our guy. It seems like the squad have full faith in Havertz to be the number 9.
I agree. I think
they all look at Havertz and think, yeah, this guy can do the job. Very serious.
Yeah. I don't know why, if you was Havertz's teammate, why you wouldn't love him. Like, he's gonna run the hard yards.
Yeah.
So when you need somebody to keep it, he can keep it. You know, if you need somebody to score a goal, he can be there to score. I wouldn't put him past him scoring versus Villa.
Yeah.
Like, I 100% see why the teammates believe in him. I think we still need more goals. I'm very happy for Kai Havertz to be the number 9. I think we still need somebody else who can bring us goals, be it a wing or forward, however it's gonna look.
100%.
But I'm also just happy that we've found a place for this really good footballer. Like there was the whole big questions, like 70 mil to Chelsea way back when, and then we spent a lot of money on him, and it's like, is this guy ever gonna be anything?
Yeah.
Well, that's gone.
Yeah.
All of those questions, all of that.
Well, not from Chelsea fans.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a lot of neutrals that are like not even asking me about Kai Havertz, like not even posing the question to me about like what that it used to be like non-stop. She's never gonna be anything, and now everybody's like, well, is he gonna score 20?
Yeah, we're seeing Kai Havertz's stats from when he's been playing at striker, and the one other guy that I wanted to touch on from his performance was David Raya.
Yeah.
Goalkeepers don't usually get too much praise, even on this podcast. Joe Hart did a great bit of analysis on the match of the day, and it was kind of nice to hear a keeper kind of give his punditry on another keeper, because we're always sat here like, you can't get beat at your near post. What's Ramsdale doing? But it was good to get, and I think David Raya, other than that big save, I've said this before, is that there's just a calmness that he brings.
No, I think David Raya is another guy that's going to go to another level this year. He's not going to be like world class, nothing like that. But I just think he is going to. We thought he was decent last year, and I think his performances are going to be better this year.
Yeah. Settled in after one season.
And I think we'll really start to see, you know how Onana's come out and said, I'm going to be taking risks.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start to see that. Like, we're going to start seeing the balls into midfield. We're going to start seeing the like his full artillery of what he can do as a GK, because he doesn't have to worry about his place anymore.
Yeah.
Ramsdale's looking like he should be going.
Yeah. Everyone trying to get him on loan, though.
Clubs know they can take the piss with us, and I blame.
I warned you about this.
I blame previous Arsenal management, ownerships, whatever. But everybody thinks they can take the piss. Like us struggling so much to get 30 for Eddie, and Skip has just gone for 25. I know they're different players, different positions, whatever. But Skip has done nothing to be worth 25 mil. Elliot Anderson went for 35 mil.
Yeah, well, let's not get into that one. Because that one's just...
they're saying Broja...
Demos went for 20 mil the other way.
They're saying Broja is going loan to Ipswich, 30 mil obligation to buy if they stay up. Broja. He's not played football for 2 years.
I know. It's nuts.
Broja, Southampton, Broja. Yeah, that was a baller.
The Ramsdale one is difficult, in particular because of all the things around it. And
I was adamant, man, on this pod during the summer that I wasn't going to sell Ramsdale for a loss, but I'm just at the other point now where it's like...
You're going to have to. Unless Chelsea come in for him, which I don't think they'll do.
Chelsea have too many keepers.
Even though Chelsea fans, I think, are at the point where they would take Ramsdale, especially after what Sanchez did on the weekend. But yeah, I mean, on the Wolves side, I thought they might get smacked with no Neto, no Cunha in the starting.
Yeah, well, they looked alright.
But they actually did alright. There was positives for Wolves to take from that game, and they're at home to Chelsea on the weekend.
Yeah, that's a game they could win.
Exactly, but it's a game Chelsea must win.
It's a game Chelsea must win.
Chelsea must.
I agree with you.
They must.
But it's a game Wolves could easily win.
100%.
Like,
you want to speak on Mosquera quickly? I don't know. Firstly, I don't know how he hasn't been sent off.
Yeah, I don't know how he's not been sent off.
You're not even allowed to do that in the UFC.
I just think, like...
The guys are saying he should be charged with SA. Gabriel Jesus. Allegedly.
I actually have nothing to say. I just feel like I think you can maybe only get away with that match they won.
They didn't even show that a match of the day. I don't know if they were allowed to.
No, not on BBC.
BBC,
not on BBC. There you go. There you have it.
But yeah, so we'll move on. Ipswich versus Liverpool, early kickoff.
Yeah.
The Tractor Boys down at Ipswich.
That's their nickname.
Yeah. Look, Ipswich, they did the passion merchant thing.
They did for 45 minutes.
They put a press on Liverpool.
Yeah.
They made it difficult for them. Ultimately, Liverpool's quality came through. Arne Slot, ruthless substitution. We were talking about ruthlessness earlier. Ruthless substitutions, and said after the game categorically, Kwanzaa didn't win enough duels.
Yeah,
we needed to win more.
That was actually cold. I'm not gonna lie.
I rate it highly.
We could talk about tactics.
Yeah. But if you don't win your duels, yeah. So I think that's a good start from him. He looks like those comments alone start to make you think, oh, could this guy be a serious coach? But the way Liverpool played. Gravenberch was impressive as a lone six. I'm not saying I'm sold on the idea, but he played well.
Yeah.
obviously a Dutch guy. Gravenberch seems to be touted with a lot of potential. Dutch manager now,
Yeah.
could he potentially go somewhere? But I think ultimately Ipswich learned that, like in the Championship, they can put that performance in there, win and whatever. But in the Premier League, they learn that some teams right back will cook you
Yeah.
for 15 minutes and the game will be over.
I think Ipswich
In the Championship, there's no right back that's just going to cook
can
you
do
and
that.
take the game
No, I
away from
agree.
you.
Like Trent was unbelievable, but has to be expected. And I'm a Trent hater, but has to be expected. He was different level. I think Ipswich, apart from that learn of like any player in any position can win the game.
Mm.
I think Ipswich should learn, and if they haven't learned this already, like in the first half when they had moments, it felt as if they were just happy to like get into Liverpool's final third and look dangerous, look threatening. Like,
Well, they haven't been here for a while, man.
I agree, yeah, but that's their biggest learn of like when you have these 3-on-2s that you were having, when you have these 3-on-3s that you were having, and your Gravenberch is struggling to get back, and all these guys in midfield are not quite there. Yeah, you have to punish.
Yeah.
You have to make the most of that. And I thought that's why I thought, oh, Ipswich are playing well. But then if you can't keep that up for an hour, if you can't always bank on yourself to create those chances, Amari Hutchinson, Liam Delap, they looked good. They looked threatening at least, but there was never a true, genuine threat on Liverpool's goal from open play. That Greaves guy looks good. Looks like he's going to be dangerous from set pieces. But like
real men.
That on the counter attack is 3 versus 2. It's 3-on-3. You have to be making Delap and Hutchinson and these guys. You have to be making the most of that, man. Like you've got to be beating down the door and not just be happy to get a shot on target. You know,
that's definitely something that they're gonna have to learn. Whether that's even a learning, because whether they can actually do that, can they actually?
Bro, 30 mil. We'll see.
Broyo's record ain't great. As much as I like Broyo as a player, his goal scoring record ain't great.
Touch wood, but I just know Broyo's going to get injured and miss huge parts of the season.
And then the only other thing I wanted to touch on here: Salah, 300 goals and assists, 350 Premier League games.
I'm not gonna lie, that 9 opening day match goals is nuts. Because I didn't even know he's done 9 seasons here.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, as we were talking about Saka earlier, if he gets anywhere close to those kind of numbers, then he's out of Arsenal, probably Arsenal's best winger.
No, I think Salah, man. Yeah, there's like you have to look far and wide for a guy that will, I don't know what he's called, like unbiasedly call him a bad footballer or like like there was a lot of, I was there. There was a lot of that early in his career.
Aesthetic comparisons.
I was there early in his career. He's terrible. He's this. He's that. But he's been the guy for a long time now, and he's like, we just know he's going to kill it this season. Even if he's having a kind of an off year, even if he's kind of more washed than his prime or whatever, he's at minimum going to get 15 and 15. And probably still going to get 20 and 10. 20. Like, so.
Troy Deeney said his trim makes him look hard. Makes him even better.
And I do think that, like, we saw it in the Ipswich game, that long ball to Salah is still cash money. And I also do think, though, Jota. I think Jota, this is probably going to be his year. Like, he's always been a good player. He's always got goals for for Liverpool.
With Jota, it's just about injuries.
But I do think that Slot, like the way Klopp was giving Nunes so much love and time and whatever, I don't think he'll have time for Nunes. And if Jota's doing the things, Jota's going to play games.
Well, I think there's always been a understanding, especially amongst Liverpool fans, that Jota is their best finisher.
He is.
Arguably their best striker. Whether the Jota thing works in a game against 2 dominant centre halves.
Even I'm just thinking about Aston Villa away. Does Jota work?
It's yet to be seen. Maybe Nunes goes in there. Maybe Gakpo goes in there. Whatever.
That's what they have, though. Options.
But the one other on the counterpoint to that, even in those games with dominant centre halves, Jota's still probably most likely to bag a goal.
And he does that dribble ricochet. I'm just gonna beat
the ugly.
So
that's Jota's whole game. But yeah, good start for Liverpool. They play Brentford this weekend, and then they go to Old Trafford.
I'm interested in that game,
the Brentford game.
Yeah, big time.
Well, if Tony's back, but we can get there. We can get there because I think without Tony, Van Dijk and Konate just gonna sweep up everything.
Yeah, I believe in the boys. I believe in the Wissa Buemo partnership, Jordan and Pippen. That's what they say. Like,
We'll get there. We'll get there. But Leicester versus Tottenham, Monday night at the KP. Leicester back in the Premier League. I said last week I was going to bet on Leicester to win this game, and they were so close.
They should
were
have.
so close, so easily could have won that game with Vardy's chance, but Vardy bagged anyway. Harry Winks cooking in midfield. I predicted that as well, showing Bentancur and Sarr levels. And Fatawu cooking. But the thing with Tottenham, Tottenham should have been out of sight in that first half. They should have been out of sight. It should have been 3 or 4-0, game done. They weren't clinical. And some people might say this is nasty of me, but Solanke's Prem record does not look great.
Yeah.
Right. Other than last season, his season high was 5 league goals. Right. So
60 mil. You're struggling.
You're hoping that's not a flash in the pan last season if you're a Tottenham fan, and you're hoping that he's not going to come with 6 or 7 league goals.
No, he won't. I think he'll get more than 6 or 7.
Because he had a lot of chances yesterday. He probably could have had a hat-trick.
No, he'll get more than 6 or 7, but he's not going to get the 18 or 19 or 20.
He's going to get 15.
He'll probably finish on 12.
Which is, 65 million. Tottenham fans are already saying they overpaid by 20 million.
Yeah, they did, but they knew they got bumped. But at the same time, he will improve the team a bit because for Charleston, he was done with that. I think on the Tottenham game, I agree with you. Like that first half, playing good stuff.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Mathers.
Yeah, it was all happening.
Yeah.
But man, it's not even just the history of Tottenham. Like
it is the history.
I've got. And I told you, this is not the week for me to kill Tottenham because it's match day 1. It's a draw versus Leicester. Like, I do think they looked like the worst team in the Premier League for the first 45 minutes. Yeah, for the first 45 minutes. And there's going to be more chances. So I want to save my time to kill Tottenham for the right appropriate.
Yeah, but I think it is the week to kill Tottenham fans, though.
But, yes, it's the week to kill Tottenham fans. But what I will say about Tottenham, the club, and yesterday, like, the cracks of the Ange era, or wherever it ends up being, is there. Still right there for us to see. You guys leak goals. Yeah.
There's not been an improvement on those things from last year.
And you don't score that many.
But they should.
But they don't. And Ange said it himself. It's like, it's not even a ring rust thing. Like, I don't really believe in that. It's been a problem last season as well. Not putting away chances. We've got to work harder on our finishing, all this kind of stuff. But how much more clinical is Kulusevski going to be? How much more clinical is Brennan Johnson going to be? Manor Solomon, you know? So my thing about the whole...
The goal came from Pedro Porro.
Yeah. He's turning out to be their guy. But my thing for the whole Ange, era is like the frailties that even if Leicester could expose them...
Yeah.
On match day 1 of the Premier League with a 37-year-old Jamie Vardy, Fatawu, and Ndidi still doing the box-to-box thing. Not 25-year-old Ndidi. Yeah. Not 25-year-old Ndidi from way back when who was looking tidy and looking nice, like weathered Ndidi. It's still with Wout Fass and all these guys at the back. Like, if they can figure out, all right, if we play this style of football, if we just do this, we can stay in this game, we can get a goal, we can maybe win it.
Yeah.
I don't know how far that's gonna go.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. We got to remember, this is Leicester, who we were watching the game. We're on the group chat at halftime. Leicester are the worst team we've seen.
Yeah, 30 minutes. I said.
I
just sent them right back down.
The amount of space and time Maddison was getting, or Son was getting, or Brennan John, whoever it was.
It was almost as if Leicester had just accepted we're gonna concede.
Yeah. But Tottenham's ability to capitulate. And this isn't even a bias thing because Tottenham fans have been saying this after this result. Tottenham's ability to capitulate for the last 20 years has always been there.
Yeah.
Has always been so predictable. As soon as Tottenham were coasting, it was so easy for them. Yeah. They could have got out with a 1-0, right? But as soon as Vardy scores that goal, the king power rises. Ange
Yeah,
mentioned it in his interview afterwards. The atmosphere goes up. The intent. All of a sudden, Winks is pressing. He's winning the ball back.
Dini's-
Fatone and Didi. Fast is getting onto second balls. All of a sudden, Leicester are in the ascendancy. They're coming forward. They're breaking. Buonanotte finding space in between the lines. He's slipping Jamie Vardy through. And I've seen it before with Arsenal teams, right? But it's just, like I said, for the last 20 years, this has been a consistency with Tottenham that Udogi's now getting ripped by Fatawu. He's now being lazy on the ball. Romero can't seem to track his man. Like, those things, when that happens in a game, Tottenham just don't seem to be able to recover. They couldn't get a foothold back in the game.
I agree with that, man. I agree with that so much. And I remember killing Ange last season for this when there was conceding so many goals from set pieces. But my thing about Ange that I worry about or that I haven't seen yet is his attention to detail. Like, does he have that? Like, he obviously has a philosophy and a style of play that he wants to achieve, and he can.
Which in the first half they were hooping.
He can get that across. Yeah. He can get that across to the boys. They can play his philosophy, the free flow and attacking football, all of that kind of stuff. But when something happens that doesn't quite go according to plan, or a really tactical guy comes along who focuses on nothing but details.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, does Ange notice that? Does he pay attention to that?
Yeah.
Is he going to change things? Is he going to... And then the last thing I'll say on Tottenham is, like, I said it about the leaking goals, like, they put that top four into so many conversations, Tottenham fans, individually and collectively.
Yeah.
Porro, Van de Ven, Romero, Udogi, but they just leak goals all the time. All the time. So I don't want to hear it.
Tottenham conceded 61 league goals last year.
It's crazy.
61.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like
but big up Steve Cooper. Big up Leicester. Big up Vardy. I'm not going to lie.
Jamie Vardy.
Love the Vardy party.
Vardy party.
I love when an old dog gets his day.
Yeah.
You know? It's like when an old NBA player just gets 45. He should retire. He should have been retired.
And a bit of shithousery when
telling
the Tottenham fans how many Premier Leagues he's won.
But Vardy's big time, man. He's had a great career. That 104 goals after the age of 30 is nuts.
Yeah. 37 now. Jamie Vardy.
Is nuts. So I still think that's not going to go right down, but I'm happy for Steve Cooper. Hopefully he can get a couple of signings in and make it interesting.
And the other problem with Tottenham is, and we said this when we spoke about their window, when Ange makes those 4 substitutions or whatever, bro, the depth just doesn't look like it's there. I know they've cleaned out a lot of players. They've got rid of a lot of players. Højbjerg, Emerson, all these guys have gone.
Brian Hill
obviously gone. Brian Hill's gone. Lo Celso, they're trying to shift all these guys. But these guys coming off the bench, as much as they might look tidy, Archie Gray looked all right, Bergvall looked all right.
Don't change the game.
When this was, again, we have to like emphasize this was Leicester. Yeah. When you're going to a Palace at Selhurst or Brentford away or at Brighton away, and these are your squad players coming in to try and make a difference, I don't know how it's gonna work.
And they spent big money on these guys. We can't say Tottenham haven't spent. Tottenham spent big money.
Lots of money.
In the last couple of windows. And there needs to be potential returns. And
they've spent close to 150 million this window. Solanke, Archie Gray, Odebear, Bergvall.
It's going to be one to watch, man. It's going to be one to watch, Tottenham, as always. I don't really have high hopes for them this season. I don't think they're going to do terribly. They'll finish 6th. 5th, you know, but I don't think that. Actually, I don't know if they'll finish 5th. I think Newcastle could finish ahead of them, honestly. So,
one team that, if I was betting now, I would say is going to finish ahead of them is Man United.
Yeah.
And that's not just because they won on the weekend. They did obviously beat Fulham 1-0. Joshua Zirkzee scoring on his debut, picking up the 3 points for Man United. Obviously, a nice moment for him. That's what he would have dreamed of.
Yeah. But that was a heritage win for United. I don't that. Like Tottenham don't have that.
No.
Like, we've not played well, really. Other teams been kind of on top of us, but our new boy.
I said to you when I saw you that the longer that game went on at 0-0 and Fulham didn't capitalise, Man United were going to win that game. My brother was sat next to me talking about the potential Robinson clean sheet. and how he benched him and should have started him. And,
I was like, don't
and
worry.
I'm like, wait,
Don't
it's coming.
Yeah.
Because, and not just heritage, but typical Ten Hag
Yeah.
Man United performance where you've been. It reminded me of the first day of the season last year against Wolves, where you've been boss,
second best.
you kind of been schooled,
Yeah.
but your better quality that comes on the Old Trafford tax, and you go and win the game. But shout out Joshua Zirkzee, fair play.
Shout out Joshua Zirkzee.
I don't know how that's gone in the back of the net.
It's a good finish.
It's a great finish.
Some tidy flicks on the halfway line.
And one other guy who I'm hearing a lot about, we kind of spoke about this off air,
Don't
but
say
we'll bring
this.
it here for the podcast. Mazraoui, that's unbelievable.
I wouldn't say unbelievable. I think they're in that situation where we were with Bellerin, and you've got a new guy in. You had tough times.
They're not in the situation. Wan-Bissaka, I would have taken Wan-Bissaka every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
But
they're Bellerin.
They're like Mazraoui's the opposite to Wan-Bissaka. He's tidy on the ball.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So they've gone from like we barely have a right back who's tidy on the ball.
Exactly.
Dalot, when he's there, he's tidy on the ball, but he's not good defensively.
Yeah,
or he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
as good defensively.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Mazraoui for the one game versus Fulham looked like he could put the two together. However, my whole thing was, before I go overboard with Mazraoui praise, I need to see him versus a variety of wingers.
Yeah.
Not even a variety, like just another 2 or 3 who I think that's a Premier League winger there.
Brighton, Saturday lunchtime, Mitoma.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Exactly.
Let's see. We'll come next week and we'll talk. Right?
That's what I want to say before going out with the Mazraouis.
Yeah. And when Mitoma comes off, Adingra.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see how that 90 minutes goes for
Welbeck peeling onto him.
The Old Trafford crowd isn't behind you.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Stretford end isn't there. We'll see. Right. The rotations, but we'll get onto Brighton because they look serious. But one thing about Mazraoui, and he kind of mentioned it there. In possession, he's serious.
Yeah, he looked good. He looks tidy.
In possession, he looks
Ajax
like
Academy,
he can
played
take
for
the ball.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I'd expect that.
Yeah.
I'd expect that, right? Ajax Academy graduate and whatever. Right foot, left foot. He doesn't seem to panic when he's pressed and whatever. And that's probably what the Man United fans are all buying into at the minute. But defensively, let's see. Let's wait and see what Mazraoui has to offer. And this weekend's going to be interesting. But on the Fulham side, Fulham are so frustrated.
Yeah,
Fulham are so frustrated.
And you know what's so funny is we do this every year. We have a lot of love for Marco Silva.
Yeah.
And just like I was about to say, Man United will have another 4 or 5 of these wins a season.
Minimum.
Where they second best, who are they? Were they really that good?
Yeah.
But one moment of quality wins them the game. And they get out there. Fulham are gonna have another 4 or 5 of those exact losses. Where it was like we've actually probably done well from phase 1 to phase 2.
Yeah.
But somewhere in phase 3 it hasn't really quite worked, and we drop the ball once, we let our guard down once, and they score, and that's that we've lost.
And that's where I was saying Marco Silva, no matter what, can only probably get that Fulham team to finish at a very max of 8.
Yeah.
Because Marco Silva in that game, you can see the first phase, the second phase,
he's done the coaching
perfectly.
Now I need the quality.
This is how you break the lines. This is the movements you make. This is where you pick up the ball. But in the final third, and we've said this about Arteta before, there's not really coaching.
Yeah.
You just need star quality.
Like when Adama skips past everybody, but blazes it 30 yards over the bar. Yeah.
When Marco Silva is telling you every day, this is how we're going to get our counter attack.
Yeah.
And Andreas Pereira can't play that pass. What can he do?
Yeah.
What can he do?
And what I will say about Fulham is, though, I was going to say, like, I kind of enjoyed what we've just talked about. The phase 1 all the way through. I thought, Smith Rowe out to Iwobi.
Yeah.
You know, Pereira in there. Like
Robinson.
You've got some trickery. You've got some pace.
Yeah.
I was telling you about Robertson. Robertson might be the most aggressive left back in the Premier League. Like that 50-50.
Snaps into
he holds nothing back. I've got to win that ball.
Yeah.
So I like Fulham. I'm not worried about them going down or nothing, but I do think they need to improve on Adama Traore. He should always be your backup right winger.
Yeah.
And never be your starting right winger.
And even Iwobi on the other side, I know you said you're not too mad at Iwobi, but I just feel like if you need that final third quality,
you can't trust him. But I can trust Iwobi to do the hard yards and the fundamental stuff. Like, you know.
Yeah, but
I can't trust him to win.
There comes a point where, like, I know obviously Willian's gone, but you need that Willian quality.
Yeah. Fulham should still be in the market.
Yeah. Well, I think Marco Silva said he is. He said they're trying to get a centre midfielder and they're trying to get an attacker.
Yeah.
But to a team chasing top 4, And so a team that had a good win, though, West Ham versus Aston Villa,
Mm,
Saturday night football.
good game.
West Ham struggled in that first half. Interesting team selection from Lopetegui, James Ward-Prowse on the bench. Missed the first half of this, but from what I saw, it looked like Villa played very, very well.
Oh, you missed it. Oh, yeah, because
No,
you
I
come
was at
back
the
from the
Arsenal
game.
game. Yeah. But yeah, it looked like Villa
No,
played very well in that second half.
Villa had most of it in the first half. I think it was funny for Lopetegui to bench Ward-Prowse and throw his Guido Hernandez. I can't remember his Guido Rodriguez.
Guido Rodriguez.
Straight into the lineup, straight in Premier League debut.
Yeah.
Um,
He looked like he did all right from what I saw.
not like West Ham, as much as they didn't have enough or much of it in the first half. It was mainly because you could tell that this Villa team is like, it's not day one of their project. Like Emery's been here for a year.
Yeah.
He's already got the people know the systems. Bailey knows his job. Watkins was
100%.
there. You know, they had the Rogers guy in midfield. Like,
Tielemans,
all of this stuff had been worked on in the training ground.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell. Yeah, Onana knew what he had to do when he got in there.
Yeah.
So it was more so just that this is a really well coached Villa side versus a like West Ham team that can be and probably will be good, but Lopetegui's only just got guys in, Fulcrum can't start.
Yeah.
All of this kind of stuff.
Villa played some good stuff though.
Villa do play some good stuff, and Villa have pieces that can hurt you. Like Leon Bailey's cold with it.
Yeah.
Watkins can score goals. I really like the look of Matson when he came on off the bench. Dina can still put in a good ball in the box.
Rogers played
well, but he looks like he's got like 2 or 3 lungs, and then just like the body of an ox. And you know, I question his like finish. Like, is he really going to be a finisher in that second striker position?
Yeah.
But in terms of like running around and you know,
I don't even think he's really meant to be a starter.
no. If Villa had everybody back fully fit type of stuff, I don't think he gets it. I wouldn't think he gets into the starting lineup.
And that's where like we're talking about Tottenham and Tottenham's depth, right? And Villa's going to be a team they're competing for to try and get in that top four.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Villa bring on Jacob Ramsey, Matson, Duran.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, the depth here at Villa, Cameras to come back from injury.
Yeah.
It's looking a bit mad.
It's quality. Where's Buendia?
Yeah. Buendia was on the bench. Like, they seem to be quietly building a very, very strong squad.
Yeah.
Which I think, obviously, being in the Champions League, and that will help them. And obviously, Arsenal go to Villa Park on the weekend. Going to be their first home game. Going to be an interesting game.
I thought stand-ups for Villa, man. Onana did well. Obviously, debut. Monster in there.
Goal,
his job seems like just really well defined. Bro, we need you to do this for us in here. And but on the West Ham front, man, I was really impressed by Kudus.
Yeah.
Like,
Kudus.
Super serious footballer. I think it's a shame, and I know West Ham has spent a lot of money on a striker, but like I think Kudus, it's a shame to play him on the left. He can play on the left. He can beat a guy. He can put a good ball in the box. But when you see Kudus sort of take the ball under his control, turn a guy and run, you want him playing on the right wing.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you know he's going to be the most dangerous. The whole field is open to him. He can have a shot on goal. He can put a ball in the box. But obviously, Bowen's been there.
Yeah.
And Bowen's been getting numbers there.
Been made captain.
Yeah, so it's tough to really sort of shift Bowen from that position. But in a FIFA-esque ideal sort of world, I'd put Bowen maybe more centrally, maybe put a striker up there and Bowen sort of floating around him, and put Kudus on the right, because Kudus, I think, could get to a real level playing on the right-hand side with his mobility, with his locomotion, with his left foot. Like, he looks really good, you know, every time he comes up against anybody.
Yeah. I think Kudus is one of the ones that Edu missed out on.
Yeah.
I think that obviously looked like it could have been a transfer that could have happened. But I think West Ham, it's going to take time to learn their philosophy under Lopetegui, because at the moment it doesn't look too different to David Moyes. And the West Ham fans were crying for
good football. Somerville looked good.
When he came on.
You know, like, that's what I was saying. Somerville on the left, Kudus on the right.
Fulcrum didn't really get involved.
Nah, Antonio might see another West Ham striker come and go. Yeah. Of like, I'm just gonna outwork you.
Antonio did all right.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, he did. He was throwing up the ball well, getting guys involved, spinning into the channels. Like,
and respect to Antonio.
like
for bouncing these strikers out of the club.
yo,
every time
he
they
might just
come.
look at another guy and think, I'm just gonna outwork this guy. The full crew's not really gonna get to know defenders or
Yeah.
like
Fulkrug might be that guy who comes on to try and get a goal.
literally, I can see that.
But yeah, I think
And John Duran, he has to get a shout out. Baller.
Yeah. With all the West Ham thing as well,
All,
putting up the hammer sign on his Instagram
yeah,
live.
like he looks like a serious
I've been telling you.
finisher. Like he just looks like 2 chances is one of them's going in.
I've said Arsenal should be in for him. But and I said this to you off air, but the athleticism and the physicality of Duran is a joke.
It's a
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Like if he does come on for Watkins this weekend, he'll arguably pose Gabriel a bigger problem physically than Watkins.
Yeah, it is a joke. Like that slide rule ball, he can hold off anybody.
Yeah.
If it's slid in between the 2 centre backs and like John Duran has to get in the end of it, or your centre back has to get in the end of it.
He's got to take it on his chest and hold someone else. It's just a bit mad. Which no wonder he's being like Villa want a high price for him. But look, we'll move it on to a game that you actually watched, Newcastle versus Southampton.
Yeah.
And obviously the game changed on the Fabian Schär red card.
Terrible red card. But
on Fabian Schär's behalf, you think it is a red card?
I don't think it's a red card.
No.
I understand why they've given it whatever, like letter of the law stuff, but like Berrington Diaz has fouled him.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a 50-50 foul. Berrington Diaz has pushed him over.
Yeah. The foul's been given earlier.
Yeah.
For signing on Bruno G.
Yeah.
Play stopped and Berrington Diaz has just gone and backed him.
And now Shaw is thinking, I'm a 35-year-old man. Or, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's come to question him. And Berrington Diaz has played the game. He's put his head next to Shaw's head.
Yeah.
He's gone down. He said his head butted me. And like, Shaw's not taking a step backwards. So
Berrington Diaz 1-0 there.
Like, it's the kind of shithouse that you love if it's in your team. But,
it's difficult to say I respect it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because of the way he's fallen over.
Exactly.
But I get it. Southampton.
I do get it. But Southampton with
you need to go and win the game.
Exactly.
Or not get beat.
And you need to score a goal.
Yeah.
You need to you need to cup your ears to the fans.
Yeah, because the way the St. James's crowd
they were on him. They were on him.
It was crazy.
And he had chances. That was the worst thing.
Yeah.
So Southampton, though, I'm not gonna lie, 11 versus 11, they look good.
Yeah.
They look like they was moving the ball. I don't know if it was just like first day Premier League, whatever, but St. James's Park, you'd think Newcastle were going to be up for it all over it.
I thought they were going to get popped.
And it wasn't looking like that at all.
Yeah.
And then the red card happened, the game changes, and like Newcastle just become the most rigid team.
But if Southampton can't beat 10 men.
And for the red card happened, happened in like the 24th minute.
And the way that they concede screams problems to me. The keeper just giving up a chance like that.
Southampton are not without their problems. I think the issue that they had was, and it's tough to put this into words. When the game was obviously in their advantage, Southampton had come on the underdog story. Like they had come thinking, we're the underdogs today. We're going to show these boys. They don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They don't know who they're messing with. And then as soon as the game was in their advantage, they lost all their mentality. And Newcastle had the underdog story, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this from 10 men. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna work for each other. Every throw-in was cheered. Every that the crowd was up for it. And as soon as Newcastle went a man down, they had the better opportunities on the counter attack.
Yeah.
Southampton had a lot of the possession, but Newcastle's job was clear.
Yeah,
and Joe Linton and Longstaff. And Byrne. And all of these guys, every second ball, any ball into the box.
I've seen Byrne trying to scrap in the tunnel, Longstaff with his sliding tackle, but Joe Linton scores the goal. He ends up getting them 3 points.
He was an animal.
You watched the game,
bro. He was a monster out there.
Speak on Joe Linton.
Like I honestly can't tell you enough how lucky the rest of the Premier League was that Joe Linton was out last year, because you forget. 6 months, 7 months without Joe Linton, you think he was alright. Yeah, he had a decent spell, but he's so suited to the Premier League.
Yeah,
his ability to have some technical ability, but also just be an absolute athlete at all times. Sprint 70 yards one way, turn around, sprint 70 yards back the other way, and just do that non-stop all game. as long as his team need him to. Like, it's going to be an issue, man. Tonali, Bruno G, and Joe Linton,
Yep.
when Newcastle have all of those guys fit together and they go 1-0 up or 2-0 up, it's going to be tough for anybody to break that down.
Yeah.
Like, anybody to break that down. So, shout out Joe Linton for real. And obviously, the goal is a nice touch. Like, he used to be a striker, but he's a Fulham 8 now.
Yeah.
You know,
Left foot finish.
and also shout out to Lewis Hall. I just knew he was going to start. He was shaky. I'm not going to lie when it was at the beginning. Like, he got early yellow. But he had a goal line clearance. And
Livramento as well.
Livramento played very well as well. Nick Pope made a couple of good saves. I'm not going to lie. Like, I actually have high hopes for Newcastle this season. I think once a week is going to help him.
Yeah,
it was tough. We couldn't really get to see what they were about because of the 10-men thing. But, like, because Gordon and...
They play Bournemouth this weekend. And after that, I think Tonali's back.
Is it?
Just in time for the Tottenham game.
Yeah, so I have high hopes for Newcastle because I think Gordon is going to do his thing. I think Isak's going to do his thing. Harvey Barnes is still in and around it. And they've transitioned well. Like, Livramento is going to be a good player.
Yeah.
In the Premier
He is a
League.
good player.
Yeah.
He is a good player.
You know,
they need to sign a centre-back.
They need to sign a centre-back.
But that's the one thing.
Shaw's missing for 3 games and Botman's still out.
Yeah, it looks like Gay's not happening now.
Yeah. I don't know about Longstaff at centre-back. That's who came on.
No,
it was Longstaff and Burt.
It can't be long. No. they need to go and sign us.
What happened to Lascelles?
Well, they need to go and sign a centre back. That's
a terrible question.
Yeah, we don't need that. But yeah, look, good result for Newcastle considering they went down to 10 men, just get the 3 points and get out. But the shock result of the weekend was probably Brighton. Going to Goodison and winning 3-0. Most people expecting Goodison to be a tough place to go.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche obviously stayed up last year. And it's abysmal from Everton to lose 3-0 at home on the opening day. And I don't know what Ashley Young is still doing
starting for Premier League
when
games.
He got sent off because Mitoma's ripped him. I can't even be too mad because you can't expect Ashley Young to keep up with Mitoma.
You know what? I do get mad at Ashley Young because I know Ashley Young is in Sean Dyche's office saying, "You can count on me.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I've kept myself fit. I've worked till summer. I'm in recovery. All of this kind of stuff." And so he's begging Sean. Sean Dyche's like, "Oh, do I have any other right backs around? Is there anybody else? Maybe I should trust him, trust his word. He has done it all in the game." Nah, let it be. Yeah. Put that dog down. Ashley Young himself should want retirement. He should be looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think Ashley Young's he must have had a gambling problem.
He owes a lot of people a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know
why is he still in football?
Do you know when, like, in all sports is mad, but Ashley Young is probably getting into his 22nd or 23rd season.
Bro, he's not even gone to play Serie A, La Liga. He said, "I'm staying in the Premier League."
Like, in your 22nd, 23rd, 24th year of football, playing 38 games plus a season, your body, your mind, you've got to be done. Fragile, knackered. It's not even a Ronaldo thing where it's like the love from the fans is what's keeping you, or like the love from your admirers or your ego. You know, it's not even that thing.
It could just be he doesn't want to say bye to the game.
But can you, like, when he goes up against a Matoma or an Andringa or any winger, how much does he love that?
Yeah.
How much can he love that? Yeah. He gets cooked every week.
Yeah.
He comes back wanting more.
I'm telling you, it's got to be a gambling issue. But on the Brighton side, Brighton balling. Have they found the next top manager again?
Again.
Have they done it again?
They're saying, they're saying he's the guy. They're saying Minte is the next Sadio Mane.
He looked like he was balling. Matoma balling, the Dinger came on, Welbeck scored.
I respect.
Shout out Danny Welbeck.
Shout out Danny Welbeck. Since 16 seasons.
Is it 16? Yeah. Big shout out.
Huge, man. I think I respect Brighton's upper structure. They do the right things. They just, right, we play this style of football.
Yeah.
We get these guys in to do this job.
And I was speaking to a Brighton fan at work, and they've always got their next manager.
Yeah.
Because they always know, even when Zirkzee came in after about a month, everyone was like, "Oh, Zirkzee's the name. Man United, we might want Zirkzee. Chelsea, we might want Zirkzee." Brighton are always ready to, like, of who their next manager is going to be. Even now, after when it gets to like October and Fabian Herzler's on like a bit of a run, they'll probably have their next targets lined up. But yeah, I rate them for consistently picking a manager that's gonna play
Their style,
their
aggressive.
style, which is like become known as their style, but what I would call for a team like Brighton a risky brand of football.
Yeah,
Thomas Frank doesn't play that style of football, who
yeah,
we love.
yeah,
Marco Silva even
yeah,
doesn't play
yeah,
that
yeah.
style of
It's
football,
true.
who we love.
It's true. It's true. It's true. I'm not gonna lie. It is a very risky style of football, and like with injuries and stuff, it can get even worse because the quality just drops off a cliff. Yeah, how are you
Yeah,
gonna play it from the back when it's now this guy
yeah,
and this guy
yeah,
and that guy
yeah,
instead of your main guys? So, but they always for the last couple of seasons have not just managed to do well, but really thrive.
yeah, yeah,
So it's and they've got good quality, man. Like João
yeah.
Pedro and these guys were serious or like have the
Their
potential to
their,
be
their
serious.
recruitment's arguably the best in the league.
Yeah, and that's another one. You say the managers like all these guys will go João Pedro, and there will just be somebody else who's there,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
ready, who's waiting, and they kind of like the Man City thing.
I don't know where Dingo came from. I don't know who he was playing for before he came to Brighton. But now I want him at Arsenal.
They're kind of like the Man City thing. They've got a mixture. They've got Milner who's still there. They've got Lewis Dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a couple of guys.
Veltman.
Yeah, Veltman, Welbeck's 16th season. I was gonna say what's his name? Pascal Gross has just left. So they've kind of got a couple of guys who are like older, experienced, level-headed. I've seen it all in the game. And then they obviously have the young guys coming through trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little balance.
Yeah, yeah.
That hopefully will keep them like they're a really surprise package this year because no one knows that much about the manager.
Yeah.
No one knows that much about a lot of the new signings.
Yeah.
You know. So they could be really good. They could be
and I was not expecting them to go to Goodison
and Bobson. It should have been more.
Like, yeah. Goal disallowed.
Exactly.
But I don't know if it's just Arsenal who just make it look like the most difficult game of the Premier League season. But Goodison's meant to be a tough place to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. It'll be interesting, man. I'm really gonna follow Brighton closely this year.
The Man United game this weekend. Fabian Herzler. Have you got something?
Previous Brighton managers always had.
Yeah. We saw the way Zirkzee scored Ten Hag last year.
Always had something for us.
Schooled him. Rotations. Ten Hag had to bring on Hannibal Mabry. He didn't know what was going on. Fabian, I need you to rise. I need you to come on some tactical stuff. Make it difficult for Mazraoui. And let's see.
I'll be there no matter what.
But yeah, shout out Brighton, shout out Fabian Herzler. Performance of the weekend, probably. Brentford versus Palace.
Yeah.
Jordan and Pippen stepping up, hooping. And Mbeumo is such a serious guy. Mbeumo is such a serious footballer.
That's how I agree with you. I agree that Mbeumo is a serious footballer. He I was gonna say he doesn't get enough love, but like
Mbeumo could play for a top 6 side pretty easily.
I remember I was telling you like the quality of right wingers.
Yeah. And I don't even think we mentioned Mbeumo
in the Premier League, or even just wingers in general in the Premier League,
especially. But yeah,
is nuts. 16th, 17th in the league. It could be Anthony Elanga.
Bowen,
like
Saka, Salah, and Mbeumo.
Yeah, Bailey.
Ismail Assar came on.
Kudus could be alright. All of this kind of stuff. Yeah,
Minter.
Like you could come up against an absolute killer who could turn you inside out. And just on Brentford, man, as I say, I got a lot of love for Thomas Frank. I was texting you. I was like, I respect Thomas Frank for moving on from Tony, even whilst Tony's still at the club.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's out of his hands, whatever.
If he's moved on from Tony,
he might be telling Tony, "I want him to stay," or know. But for him just to be like, "Yo, you're not playing today. We're gonna sort this stuff out."
Whilst he's still technically a Brentford player.
Even whilst he was doing MNF and all that kind of stuff last year, he was kind of advertising Tony, saying, "Hey, look, man, this guy can go and get you 20 goals, 30 goals, whatever it is." But even then, I felt as if he was resigned to the fact that this guy's gonna go. I need to have my team without him. Tony goes down for betting. You don't really hear too much out of Thomas Frank. He never really moaned about it. He just puts Wissa and Mbeumo up there.
Yeah.
And, he makes it work. And then he lost Mbeumo.
Yeah.
And he just makes it work. And I think Wissa deserves a lot of credit as well because he's kind of that guy for Brentford that he's never going to be Mbeumo. He's never going to be Tony.
Yeah.
But he's always a part of their biggest wins. He's always a part of...
Wissa does deserve credit.
He's always a part of turning the game around for Brentford, being a part of their biggest wins. whenever Brentford have a really good performance, which has done a lot of the dirty work, winning the ball, tracking back, wherever it might be.
Wissa's even the kind of player, and it's not even that I look at Wissa and I think, oh, there's endless amounts of quality there. But Wissa's the kind of player who, if he was in that Fulham team on Friday, he could be the one that scores the goal. He could be the one that provides some end product.
Yeah, exactly. Beats his man, puts the ball in the penalty spot for somebody else to tap on.
Yeah.
I know the fundamentals of their game. I'm not looking for the 30-yard screamer from this point. I'm just gonna do what's right.
Yeah.
So no, they Brentford, Thomas Frank, Norgard was in there, did the things. Jensen was in there. I told you
he was playing Ayer as a left back.
I told you last week, 2 weeks ago, that I was watching Brentford's preseason. Showed you the highlights.
But they didn't play that well, did
they?
Palace were cooking them.
Palace were cooking them. Palace were the better team.
Palace looked good.
But the GTEC Stadium, bro, it's a lot. You have to earn the 3 points.
And that's why Mbeumo was so serious.
Yeah, you have to earn
because for the first 30 minutes, Palace are just cooking them. Eze's having free kick goals disallowed that should never.
Flecken was looking like a clown.
Flecken is a clown.
He turned it up though.
Wharton's
second half,
cooking. Kamada's finding space, and then all of a sudden, Mbeumo gets one chance. He rips Gay, who arguably wants to go for 70 million, and buries it. But Palace looked good though. Palace did look good.
I look. We said on the preview, like
they were unlucky to not come away with at least a point.
At least a point. I agree with you, but this is the history.
Yeah,
of Crystal Palace. This is the history of Crystal Palace.
Well, not like this though.
Not like they don't normally look this good.
Yeah,
and not pick up
exactly.
points.
If Palace play well, they get points. That's where it used to be, right? And they play well for 18 games, and they play terrible for 19 games, right? And if they play bad, they don't get any points. If they play well, they get. But they've actually played well and not come away with anything.
I'm not too worried about Palace unless they lose Eze, because they did play well. Everybody knows their thing. Munoz, right back, like Tariq Mitchell, left back. Anderson was looking good.
Wharton.
Gay's a good player. Wharton was nice. I agree. So it can all be something for Crystal Palace, but I still wouldn't put it past them not picking up as many points as you would expect in the first couple of games and pressure being put on Glasner, because that's just what I know Crystal Palace to be. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that out of like it's an illogical opinion. It's just like a personal feeling, rather than like Glasner looks like he's doing the right things. Mateta obviously clearly wasn't fit.
Yeah,
like he's just come back from the Olympics. I'm so surprised he even started. Like it feels like
the Olympics was this pre-season.
So once all of that clicks, once they start to be fair. And I know I've given Thomas Frank a lot of credit. If any one of the Crystal Palace, like if the free kick went ahead or if Edouard's goal went, like go-ahead goals, I don't know if Brentford are coming back into the game.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Brentford did not look good. They were getting moved to at home. Which again just shows you how serious those Wissa and Mbeumo are. The fact that Wissa's even there for the rebound that just kind of hit him. Those Jota kind of shit goals.
Wissa. That is Wissa.
Yeah.
I remember watching him 2 seasons ago versus Liverpool. It couldn't even be last season versus Liverpool when he must have scored 4 or 5 goals. And 3 of them were offside.
I remember.
And he was just not giving
even
up.
The goal he scored against Arsenal last year when he presses Ramsdale.
That's Wissa.
Yeah, that's what you'll
get. Any of the bigger wins, any of the bigger moments, he has something to say about it.
But yeah, I think Palace were a bit unlucky. Palace got West Ham this weekend, so that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting.
The last game was Nottingham Forest Bournemouth. Really nothing to talk about here. Chris Wood bagged, Semenyo bagged.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's all I got.
Yeah, like that was the game.
I didn't even really see Gibbs White quality, Elanga quality, Hudson-Odoi. I didn't really see any of it.
It wasn't there. And the only thing is the goal from Bournemouth was a calamity from Nottingham Forest perspective.
Yeah.
But
just ricochet after ricochet, and then
the centre back is the other centre back.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just move on because there's really nothing to say there. MVP and Rookie of the Week. MVP, I will start. Jamie Vardy.
Yeah,
37 years old, comes back to the Prem, dunks on Van der Ven, dunks on Romero, and tells the Tottenham fans how many league titles they have.
Agreed. Jamie Vardy has to be there. My MVP of the week, or one of my MVPs of the week, will be Danny Welbeck.
Yep.
16th
16
season,
years. Yep.
goal every year.
Yep.
Still doing his thing post injury.
Yeah,
How many
great
post
finish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still doing the things for sure. Who else do I think had
Joshua Zirkzee
Joshua Zirkzee?
on your debut.
Standout
Stretford
week.
End. Fair play.
Definitely. Pep, I'm not gonna lie, but if it's just being like match day one with the mind games, with everything, trying to replace Gundo with Gundo,
playing Savio on the left and Doku on the right.
Gvardio's still doing left back things. Is he? So Gvardio's just
he's
a
left back. I told you he's a left back. He played left back for Croatia.
Yeah, he never. He played left back for Croatia.
Now in the tournament.
Is it?
In the Euros in the
so
summer.
Pep's changed everybody's mind.
Yeah. The Croatian manager saw that, Gvardio goals, assists, left back.
Gvardio used to go, he
used to be the centre back.
The best prospect.
100 million. Most expensive centre back of all time.
I give Pep just the match they won, everything. Just like, that ridiculousness.
Rookies,
Tottenham
fans.
And Tottenham
any
fans.
Tottenham fan that thought they would finish third, thought they might coast to top four. All of you.
Adama Traore, you can't be getting moved to by Martinez like that, and having Martinez say those things on match day one.
We'll be there at Craven Cottage though.
Yeah.
I've got
Chelsea.
Everything
to do with Chelsea.
Well, common theme. Chelsea left backs. Rookies of the week. Cucurella. You've been singing about Haaland.
Yo, that video of Cucurella singing that song, both of them,
all summer.
It's ridiculous.
It's just been all over my timeline. You play Haaland match week 1 and you get moved to.
Yeah.
Come on. And Ben Chilwell, because as much as I have nothing against Ben Chilwell, we spoke about him on the weekend. I still think Ben Chilwell's a pretty good left back.
Yeah, prem quality.
What are you doing in training for one, Pochettino to say, he's a left winger, and two, Maresca to say, I don't know what position he plays. Ben Chilwell's been a left back our whole lives.
It was never a question.
What is Ben Chilwell doing in training? The Maresca's he has no place in my team.
We're still trying to figure out what he is. He doesn't.
He said, pack his bags, go. He needs minutes.
To that point, I give an MVP to Conor Gallagher specifically. To do 5 days in a hotel in Madrid thinking you're going to sign.
Training on your own.
To then be clawed back. And this is your boyhood club.
Yeah.
And to nothing, not a peep, no statements.
Yep.
Maybe it's just get me the hell out of here type of thing. But I'd be like at least putting something on my Snapchat. Cryptic stuff.
Yeah.
Like stirring up the pot a little bit. Non-football MVPs / rookies. Drickus de Police.
Yep.
Choking out Izzy.
Yep.
Izzy. Unexpected. Izzy's now in that place where it's like, I've seen this many times in the UFC. You was the champ for a while.
Yeah.
And then they took your championship belt from you.
Yeah, I can't look at Izzy the same way.
And then it's like, are you really going to get back though?
He's not that guy he was.
Are you really going to get back? How many guys never get back? And Izzy got back, but it was only for a fight. But at least he got back.
Izzy's peak was beating Pereira.
Yeah, that was a big win. So, he's in the wilderness now a little bit.
I don't really know. Like Drickus, did he beat Strickland?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so fair play. He's probably pretty serious.
He's on a run, but still, you're
meant to be.
I'm telling you,
style bender.
There's always that new dog.
Yeah.
There's always that new dog, so he deserves his love. He's here. He's worked hard. The name is so South African. It's ridiculous.
Drickus du Plessis.
The name is so South African. It's ridiculous. I shout him out. I don't think there's anything else happened in sports recently.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But if Edu's not careful, he's going to get a rookie from me next week.
100%. Clock is ticking.
Yeah.
But there's a lot happening.
Someone needs to be here before we go to Villa Park.
They won't be here before.
I don't even care if it's Johan Garcia.
They will.
Someone needs to be here before we go to Villa Park.
They won't be here, but we might get a here we go on the Thursday night.
Yeah, Friday night.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. On the Friday night, we might get medical soon
So what we've been hearing for the last
for the
2
last 3
months.
weeks. Yeah.
But yeah, look, thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, let us know. If especially the Chelsea stuff, Raheem Sterling stuff, if anyone's got any thoughts on that, drop that in the comments. But we will be back next week, and after a massive game for Arsenal at Villa Park, it's gonna tell us a lot. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.